Now we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, there's going to be a switch because we will be talking to Samantha Tan.
That is right. The first Malaysian to be accepted into the New York Actors Studio. All right, coming up after the break, we have Samantha Tan on set, which is the first Malaysian to be accepted into the New York's Actors Studio Academy.
Welcome back. You are watching The Breakfast Show. Now, we do have a really special guest, and she's really inspiring.
Absolutely. She's multi-talented, she's driven, and she's down-to-earth and humble as well. We've got none other than Samantha Tan on set, who is an actress, a dancer, and an all-around creative person.
Yes. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning, guys.
Now, your story has been inspiring because you didn't want to burden your parents with tuition fees, and, you wanted to better yourself as a performer. And so you had this initiative of doing a fundraising online.
That's
so
right.
you successfully, accomplished your mission. And you have been in New York for 2 years now.
I have, yes.
Tell us what's been going on.
What's been going on? I finished 2 years on the Actors Studio Drama School Master's Program. I have 1 year left, which I'm going to start in September. And I was very lucky. I set up a fundraising website, and a lot of Malaysians were very, very generous to me, as well as companies, as well as people from other countries too. They were very interested in the fact that I was the first Malaysian there. And somehow I managed to raise most of what I needed, which is, I'm very, very grateful for that. And,
wow.
yeah.
It's a huge opportunity. I mean, even just to get accepted to go there, but to have people really get behind you for your dreams and to help you to get there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it really restored my faith in human beings. I thought, and that's partly why I'm back in Kuala Lumpur this time round. I'm holding a few acting workshops to kind of, my way of paying it back.
So we pay it forward, all the help that you've gotten for this. So how many acting workshops will we be doing?
I'm hosting 2. One of them I've done already last Sunday, and another one is this Sunday.
Wow.
Excellent.
So this is free of charge.
It's free of charge. It's not for profit. I felt that since I was so lucky to be paid for by people, that it wouldn't be right to come back and make a profit from it straight away. And it's just to expose local Malaysians to the techniques I'm gaining in New York, give them a taste of it, and see how it goes. Yeah.
Now, your lifestyle in New York, I mean, you are really, penny pinching, right, in terms of your lifestyle. I mean, you're really looking at your wallet because I read your story that your heater is rattling and it disturbs you at night.
How did you read that? Oh, dear.
It's the digital era. Everything is out there for us.
Oh, my goodness.
And you take the subway and you go through like grimy areas, just to get to where you need to be. Now tell us, how seriously, how challenging can it be?
I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about it.
Well,
I don't mind.
But you're telling us realities.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, as an actor, as an acting student, as a dancer before this, you're not making millions. You're not going to be a banker, raking in your bonuses every year. You don't even know when your next paycheck is going to be. So you do have to be practical about it. You do have to not be extravagant. I suppose I have quite simple tastes anyway. I'm not into designers or whatever, and I cook a lot at home. I don't eat out that much. It's not hard. It's not hard.
Is it
Life could be
noodles
worse.
all the time, like instant noodles, because that's what you wrote?
I do like my instant noodles, but I love cooking in general. I have a food blog. I'm really into making Malaysian food when I'm there because I miss it. It's hard to get good nasi lemak. So.
She's already blushing. Yeah, she's already blushing because I think, what? I think your story is, it's really an eye-opener to a lot of young people because it really spurs, that, to achieve your dream, you really have to be a go-getter, and you really did it on your own. Now, you also bake to raise tuition fees, to have some pocket money?
Yes. So I started cooking when I moved overseas because when you live in Malaysia, you take it for granted, right? Good tapao, good food is everywhere. You eat all day, all night, and you never have have to worry about it. But when you're overseas, you know, it's much more expensive. So I started a food blog, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And it grew into a little business. And so I sell Chinese New Year cookies, I make birthday cakes, I cater sometimes for people's student films. And yeah, it's to have pocket money. It's also to pay some of my bills. And it did contribute to my fees too.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
and you also, now you did something at the London Olympics.
I
Yeah, the closing
yes.
ceremony. And you...
Behind Russell Brand, no less.
Yes.
Behind Russell Brand.
Yes.
I mean, that was a happy accident. It turned out I was in New York in school, and the choreographer for the closing ceremony was someone I've worked with before.
Okay.
So he, without my ability to go and audition, again, really fortunate for this, he just offered me the job. So.
And you got paid well, really well, right, for that
Quite
role?
well.
Okay.
Quite well.
Because we see on your blog as well, the past updates saying, you know, $25,000, you know, raise or
35,000 balance for next year.
So what is that? Is that something extra, or is that something you need still?
You mean like on my fundraising website
Yes.
when I state those amounts?
Yes.
Oh, well, those are probably scholarships that have come in to cover those
I see,
amounts.
I see.
Yeah.
Well
and,
done.
Well, let's hope so.
yeah, and you know, it was individual people. It was also a couple of corporations who were very generous. The Better Malaysia Foundation is one of them, by Berjaya, and the school as well. The school itself is giving me 2 scholarships.
Wow.
So I'm there on a combination of 4 scholarships.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's really, no, it blows my mind. I'm still a bit like, wow.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can understand, like, you're super excited that day. You get the letter and it says you've been accepted, all these things, and then you're torn because your parents can't afford it and you don't want to burden them and these kind of things. But
Yeah.
what makes you segue from, oh, well, I can't afford it, to I'm going to start a fundraiser to get this money? How did you arrive at this juncture? Sorry to backtrack a little bit, but I'm
No,
interested.
well, desperation counts for a lot. No, it's just, I guess the idea I live by is why not as opposed to why.
Fair enough.
So,
What have you got to lose?
What have you got to lose? And to be fair, it was my fiance's idea. He said, listen, you know, you set up the site. My opinion was nobody's going to care. Like, my aunts and uncles will chip in. That's all I'll get. But then, you know, he said, you've got nothing to lose. Put it out there. You don't know who's reading. You don't know who's seeing it. And surprise, surprise, like in the first day we had 2,000 hits.
Wow.
Yeah, I just, you know, it restored my faith, as I said, in people's ability to like relate to your personal dreams, you know.
So now, on your path to realizing your personal dreams, now what have you done in New York? What kind of performances did you get involved in?
Well, because I'm on a student visa, I'm not officially allowed to work professionally, but within school, in our acting festivals, we have 2 every year. My goal that I set myself was to break the ethnic stereotype. So I was, you know, determined not to play geishas and kung fu types. You know, I just wanted to really prove that there's more to me than being Asian. So I've played quite a few different roles, actually, including Sarah from Harold Pinter's The Lover, which is a British play.
Wow.
So I play a British housewife like
She's
this.
very
you know.
repressed.
She's very repressed. She's very, very posh, you know. And there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Of course, yes.
And also, yeah, I have played a Japanese character. I've also played Anna from Closer. Quite a few.
Well, there's nothing wrong with playing Asian characters, but the point is to differentiate between being Asian and being an actor as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe that I'm an actor first, Asian second,
Yeah, it shouldn't
woman
pigeonhole
third. It
you,
really doesn't
you know?
matter. Yeah.
Do you find yourself being Asian is challenging, being in New York, getting, you know, job opportunities?
Well, I've been asked that question a lot. I guess I'll know when I graduate, but I think for me so far in my dance career in London, it's been an advantage. Actually.
I'm sure with all the buzz surrounding this and the dance career in London, that I'm sure you're getting offers.
Well, not real. Well, kind of, but not really, because officially I'm not allowed to work yet. So I have to
accept it.
I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, but I think it's been an advantage because in an industry like this, where you're auditioning a lot and you're usually with 200-300 other people, you know, anything that makes you stand out is good. So in a sea of blonde, blue-eyed girls, I do look different.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and I'm sure that I got the king and I because I'm Asian.
Right.
And my first job on the West End was High School Musical. And again, I'm sure I got that because I was Asian.
And that was with the original cast as well.
Original London cast, yeah.
Cast, yeah.
So what are you doing? Because I know that you are very determined as a person as well. So what are you doing like constantly? Do you kind of like have to fight for things, or you know, do you kind of like really put yourself out there?
Yeah, I try to remind myself that I'm very lucky to be there, and you know, be a sponge and learn as much as I can in every class. I find myself taking millions of notes because I want to bring them back, and that's what I did. I brought back my notebooks, read through them for days, you know, highlighted the parts that stood out to me so that I could form these workshops for locals.
So what is the plan then? Is it to come back to Malaysia after graduation, or do you intend to kind of pursue further being overseas, give back?
The million-dollar question. I do intend to keep returning. I hope to hold these workshops annually because so far I've held a couple of them and the response has been amazing. And people have a real hunger for acting technique. Because I guess maybe there's not many classes here or not much structure. And a lot of people don't know that acting requires training.
Yeah,
right.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the general perception here is that the arts don't really receive a lot of attention, and it's not like a great career path. Parents prefer kids to go into sciences and doctoral pursuits and these kind of things. You know, I want to ask, why do you think that things like acting, especially for a country like Malaysia, why are things like this important to develop amongst the local culture?
Well, you're right about the parents and their kids. My own parents, too, like, you know, bless them, they love me now, they support it. But they were very hesitant to start with. They were saying, oh, you know, you've got good grades, you should go be a lawyer. You like debating, do that. You know, and I understand that, you know, you'll worry for your child because you're entering an unstable career and all that. But the thing about the arts is that most people think it's fluffy Hollywood glamour, and really you need to look beyond that. You know, it's there not just to entertain. It's there to make you question your beliefs. It's there to challenge your perceptions, there to enlighten you. In a country like Malaysia, you know, where there's so much diversity, so many issues that we're dealing with racially, politically, it's a really important sounding board to have the arts tell the truth about the human situation, you know, to make the audience go, wait a minute, maybe that's not right, or you know, maybe my life, maybe I'm not alone in my problems. So it's there for a greater purpose.
Absolutely.
To open people's minds.
Open people's minds,
So now, talking about, you know, giving back now, your workshop's going to be happening on the 21st and 28th of July?
Yes.
Okay, so who is it open to?
It is open. It's fully booked at the moment, but it's open to any Malaysian 21 and above who is interested in acting, and you don't necessarily have to have prior experience or professional training, because I think there's a lot of hidden talent out there. I was, you know, I never had training before I auditioned.
Passion accounts for a lot of it, I presume.
Yeah, passion, and you know, acting is not about looking pretty on stage or about pretending or imitating. It's really to create complete reality on stage. So if you're a human being, you've got life experience, you've got emotional capacity, then there probably is a talent there.
I think that's where the parents come in. They generally feel that being an actor is no work. You're not working. You're just pretending, playing dress up, these kind of things. But
it's a job.
It's a job. Like James Gandolfini, which we recently lost, he said that you know, people don't know, and they shouldn't know, how hard you actually work as an actor to be natural.
Absolutely.
It's an incredible amount of work and education to be able to understand the psychology of that character, the emotional psychology behind those things like that. So you need an education. That's why it's a master's of. It's not an undergraduate course. It's an actual course of study.
Yes, and it's 3 years, and it's because, you know, actors don't have a superpower that enables them to act. It's a technique, just like a musician with their violin, you know, an athlete with his laps. Usain Bolt wasn't born winning the 100 meters. You know, you need coaching, you need practice, you need to sharpen it over and over, and it's the same with acting. And people like Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, they're not by fluke, you know, actors who can keep doing good roles for 30, 40 years. It's technique.
So what would your final advice be here to aspiring actors and actresses out there?
I would say expect resistance, you know, and it's natural. You know, your parents are going to want the best for you. They're going to worry if you're fed, if you can pay the rent, and it's completely natural. So don't get angry at that. But your job would be to prove to them that you will find a way to pay your rent, you will feed yourself well, and once they know you're safe and secure, you know, they're more likely to support you. And be ready to work really, really hard. Be ready to face rejection. It's 99% rejection, really, and it's not personal. It's you know.
And for those who can't afford that sort of education, I mean, you chose a very, you know, contemporary, unconventional route. So what would you say to those who probably would have financial difficulty in realizing their dreams?
I would say do what I did and gain as much exposure as possible. I mean, you know, I did not expect the results, but you never know. You just, you know, one of the funders I have is, he doesn't want to be named, but he's a normal businessman, and he was having his breakfast one day, and he read the Sun newspaper. There was an article about it, and he just thought, oh, wow. You know, how brave that she dared to even ask for this. So you don't know who's watching and who's listening. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you.
Now, for your next workshops, do let people know in advance. So I'm sure you have a blog as well, which is great. Now, that is Samantha-Tan.com. So you can follow her. Now, in case she comes back the next time, then, you know, there will be more places, hopefully, in her workshops.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, that's all the time we have for right now. We're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we've got loads more great stuff, so don't miss a minute.